that would make you stop and think and go, what? No way. But I got nothing, zip, haven't even got a clue. As I stand here talking to you, I'm just making it up as I go along, so I can take you to the catchy part of my song that goes something like, wake me, shock me, shake me out of my stupid zone. I need a little bit of heavenly inspiration. Whoa, yeah. Wake me, shock me, shake me out of my stupid zone. Yeah. Tell me something I don't know. Whoa. Wake me, shock me, shake me out of my woo. Okay, so thank you. So that there was an example of using the fail of writer's block as a random idea generator. It's an example of using discontent as the first necessity of progress. The second necessity of progress is what the curiosity. Why the fail? What happened? As you start to describe the symptoms of the problem, as I did with writer's block, it leads to extraordinary connections which lead to your ideas, and then they will ultimately fail in some way, which will lead to a better idea that you should have been thinking of in the first place. So why am I an authority on failure? I wanted to be a songwriter in the pop market, but it didn't quite happen that way. I ended up writing music for jingles and ringtones and beauty pageants, but that's okay. I carried on writing my songs and sharing them with anybody who wanted to listen. And eventually I had enough material for an off-West End musical, which was about the 98% of bands that don't make it. Don't pretend you know who we are. We're the undiscovered underdogs from nowhere. So bang your head like you know what's going on. Just like you understand our frustration of coming up with only 2 songs. And this isn't even one of them. 2 songs. And nobody knows who the hell we are. Yeah. Thank you. No, there's no time. We've got to move. Scary clock. So why the fail? That's I became an errorthoughtical engineer. Woo, woo. What's going on here? Oh, don't pretend you know who we are. Can we skip to the next slide, perhaps? Discovered underdogs from nowhere. So bang your head like you know what's going on. Just like you understand our frustration of coming up with only 2 songs. And this isn't even one of them. 2 songs. And nobody knows who the hell we are. Can we move on? So you're probably wondering why the fail. What happened? Well, actually, it didn't fail. It actually did quite well. It's just that I got invited to do this at conferences, and that's when I was introduced to the whole concept of innovation, and I decided to become an errorthoughtical engineer. And errorthoughtical engineering is about getting inside this anxiety, that dark hole of vulnerability we heard about, and using it as material for innovation. So it turns out that all your fears, all your worries, are a blessing in disguise that unleashes your special talent, and you have to put that, you have to describe the symptoms or draw them if that's what you do, and invent something that takes the fear away. So, for example, Edison was afraid of the dark, so he went and reinvented the light bulb. Zuckerberg was afraid of women, so he really was. So he reinvented social networking. I happen to be afraid of talking to strangers with headphones on, and that's why I invented the IPA headset, a system of sharing your headspace of sharing and engaging with other people around you, talking to people with those headphones on, with their permission, of course, so that you can start a conversation and engage with your fellow passengers. So the connection between failure and creativity is this big dark hole, this dark matter that has baffled scientists. And I know exactly what that is. It's called the cock-up, the center of confusion inside a universal problem. That's what it is. Okay, so for example, you're waiting too long in a restaurant, and you think to yourself, unacceptable. And that's where it turns into a random idea generator as you start to ask questions like, why am I waiting so long? Why won't this guy notice me? That triggers osmosis. Osmosis is the transfer of information from what you know. They buzz you with one of those little buzzer thingies, right? To what you don't know. Why can't we buzz the waiter back with one of those? And you've just invented the wuzzer. System of paging waiters. And it failed. So that's the cycle of innovation. Okay, seriously, a child dies in a shack fire. If you ask, why the failure? Then the solution becomes pretty simple. A candle fell over. So the solution is pretty simple. If you ask, why the flame? Why do we need to use flames? Then you start asking, perhaps we can use solar-powered LEDs, and that's how you invent the console jar. So these designers use the fail for looking at their vision and breaking things down so that they could connect things to write the future. So with a statement of some sort, and that statement comes in the form of technology, entertainment, or design. And if you're not involved in one of these three businesses or three things, you are heading for a fail. What drives this whole force? There are three basic desires that we all have that drive innovation, the universe, and Facebook. It's the same thing. And the first is, what's going on here? Where's the fail? And how can we help solve this particular problem? The second is, once you figured it out, you can't keep it to yourself. You have to share your new advice or device. And then we have to be liked, loved. That's the only way we'll know if your device works. You can't force people to like you. You have to go through this multiple levels of failure to perfect your particular product. So this business about don't worry, be happy does not work. The innovation zone happens where you start caring. If you're out of whack, you're right on track. That's just simply the paradox of life that says without a disaster, there is no hero. Without tragedy of some sort, there is no comedy. And without problems with our customers, you would not be able to put on a facade of kindness and understanding. So without stupidity of some sort, there would be no logic. And that's why I called my book Logical Stupidity, because it takes both sides of the equation to think of these great ideas and awaken your giant within. But before you can do that, you have to awaken your neurotic dwarf inside you. So ask yourself, what's going on within yourself? What's happening? If you don't ask these questions, you don't start analyzing it, it turns into rage and anger and crime and poverty, and we watch our country going downhill. So my question is, what if we developed an education system that helps us break down that anger into questions, and those questions become businesses? And what if we taught design thinking, entrepreneurship, and creative thinking at a school level? Doesn't have to be for businesses. It could be for a song, or for a book, or an artwork, perhaps. Or perhaps it's a movie, or an art installation, cartoon, TV sitcom, or perhaps you're into writing video games. The point is, everything revolves around this cocktail of confusion and curiosity, where you start asking questions. The other day I was woken up by some very angry birds. And it sounded like, and there's your metaphor, like they were competing on pop idols. So if you've got angry birds and pop idols, you get flock idols. And a series, an animated series with Simon Owl and Sharon Ostrich and Peacock Teaser. And so it all started with what the flock. That gave you a metaphor and a spin-off solution. So from now on, every time you see a failed situation and you're about to say what's going on here, it's now a metaphor. That thing reminds you of something. So what is it that it reminds you of? Okay? Insert your own ideas there. Start with what the hell is going on here. Fortune cookies. Chinese philosophy. Great idea, but I happen to be Jewish, so import that concept, and you've got Jewish philosophy in Jewish food, and you've got philosophy. Thank you. Birthday cards and newspapers are being recycled into toilet paper. Great idea, but why don't they go direct? We know from osmosis that they are printing these cute little puppy dogs on toilet paper. Why? Why can't you just go direct? Put the birthday cards and the magazines and the adverts in a new product called Solution Media. So that's my crazy one to see. What is your crazy one? What's coming up? How do you copy, paste, and adapt ideas? If you don't adapt, you are heading downwards. So this copy, paste, and adapt thing in business is called innovation, and in art it's called having an influence, and in nature it's called evolution. Either way, you are involved in this process. It's called inspiragialism, where you are forced to improvise a new product over a popular trend. So how do you do this? Well, it's like asking the question, how do you improvise a melody over a popular chord sequence? Through inspiragialism, where you analyze the market, you look at the chords, you see there's only 3 chords involved there, you remove the trademark melody, there's your what the hell moment, because you didn't think of it first, and then you get yourself in the mix. You let go of what you know. You take an old song and you make it your own. It might not be better, but you know it's yours, and you've avoided all the copyright laws. Okay, so your take home is, every time you see this or you hear yourself saying this, it now stands for why the failure. Okay? Every time you hear stay hungry, stay foolish, it means awaken the neurotic within. That means question the answers. When the answers are not acceptable to you, then say that. Okay? Find problems with other people's solutions. Challenge the assumptions. Why does a door have to be door-shaped? Why does a man with no arms and a dress have to direct you to the loos? Look around at the classic design icons and see which can be redesigned. Question the rules. Which rules make you challenge the system? Sweat the small stuff. What makes you worry? And look around at what other people are confused about, because then you can offer solutions. Very simple solutions. And then once you've got your confusion, label your confusion with a name, a catchphrase, and a song. What does that mean? It means that as soon as you start observing strange behavior around you, start labeling these things. There's a lot wrong with the world. We've got to put labels on them. Why do I feel bored at work? That's called bore out. You've all experienced it, you just didn't label it. Okay? Why can't you connect to the internet? That anxiety is called discombobulation. We've all experienced these things, but you didn't give it a hashtag, so it can't be discussed into existence. So, innovation starts by labeling a problem that's always been there, it just never had a hashtag. What does it look like? What does it remind you of? That looks like some type of broken thing. There's a lot broken with the world. Start sticking tags on them, and that would be unfinishedism. Now, once you've labeled it, you start seeing examples everywhere you go. So, label your confusion caused by various types of failure with a name, a catchphrase, and a song. And if you don't write songs, then it could be a business plan or whatever story you're trying to tell. Based on the fact that you never are happy with you as you are. We're making up the fashion just to get you in the store with a little good times, pretty faces. We're selling happy days. Whatever we think of, ooh, you're gonna love it. With the kids and dogs and sound and light and glamour and glitz and sizzling sex. Oh, we'll get our message to you somehow. Label your confusion, give it a name, give it a catchphrase, give it a song. Label your confusion, give it a name, give it a catchphrase. Label your confusion, give it a name, give it a catchphrase, give it a song. Thank you very much. Oh, wow.